Who in the Harry Potter universe would you show the films if you want to stop Voldemort? We know very little about how Voldemort returned to power, and there's a lot of inconsistencies and strange systems in the Harry Potter universe. But who could stop the return of Voldemort if they were shown the films and thereby the future? The obvious answer would be Dumbledore at the beginning of the first film. Dumbledore could beat Professor Quirrell, confiscate Tom's journal from Ginny, and expose Pettigrew. Then reform the Order of the Phoenix to hunt down and destroy the remaining Horcruxes. But the problem with Dumbledore is that he knows the prophecy and believes it to be right. Even after he learns of the Horcruxes, he remains steadfast in the belief that Harry must beat Voldemort.
It means one of us is going to have to kill the other. In the end.
Yes.
Another problem is how secrecy and quiet Dumbledore is. Even after he learns that Lucius planted Tom's journal in Ginny's cauldron, Dumbledore does nothing to convict the man. Don't even report him. Another obvious candidate would be Harry, but Harry isn't in a position to change very much. He won't be able to destroy any Horcruxes without the Basilisk Tooth or the Sword of Gryffindor, and he won't get any of them till after the Chamber of Secrets is open. He might manage to learn the spell that transforms Animagus and reveal Pettigrew, and he might convince Dumbledore to look into Mad Eye's chest, but nothing is certain. If we are to stop Voldemort, we need a more active wizard, one who doesn't listen to prophecies and who has the power and fame to change things. And in the beginning of the Chamber of Secrets, we meet just that. Gilderoy Lockhart. Lockhart is an ego-driven faker, but he might just be the right person to stop Voldemort's return. We meet Lockhart in Flourish and Butts, where he meets Harry for the first time. But Harry is not the only famous wizard in that store. If Lockhart was aware of his own future, he would know that he can't let Ginny get a hold of Tom's journal, because that will end with his own memory erased. And the show-off Lockhart would have the perfect opportunity to stop Lucius. He could simply walk over to him as soon as he enters the store and say something like, "Oh, isn't that Lucius Malfoy? What a great honor to meet one of the last pure-blooded wizards. Well, the honor is all mine. Let me get a signed copy of my book. Or do you already have one? Accio, stop. Petrus Totalus, shopkeep, call the Aurors, quickly." When the Aurors show up, he can explain who Tom Riddle is, and how he can feel the dark magic locked away in Tom Riddle's book.
It's a Horcrux, yes. 4 years ago, when you saved Ginny Weasley's life in the Chamber of Secrets, you brought me this. I knew then this was a different kind of magic. Very dark, very powerful.
As a self-proclaimed wonder wizard, Lockhart would get a massive boost now as he's a crime fighter. He could use this stunt to promote how good he would be in his new role as teacher against dark arts. But this will also have an effect on Voldemort's plans. As we see in the later films, Voldemort used Malfoy Manor as an unofficial headquarters. Presumably he also used Malfoy's wealth to bribe and buy exotic materials he needs. Without the Malfoys, Voldemort will have more challenging time gaining influence. Now Lucius will not immediately end in Azkaban. He's going to use his name, reputation and wealth to fight. But suppose the Ministry can prove the journal is a Horcrux, or it's one of Voldemort's personal belongings. In that case, Lucius will never see the outside of Azkaban again. However, this will be a long fight in the courts and in the Ministry of Magic, and it's very likely that the public won't hear anything due to the Ministry's secrecy. Just like the Ministry didn't disclose Voldemort's return after Harry faced him, they will try to keep this a secret. But in secret, the Ministry will probably search all the suspected Death Eaters' home again, but all that would probably take months. In the meantime, Lockhart would have started his tenure at Hogwarts. The first thing he would do is to stop Pettigrew. Lockhart is a self-obsessed asshole, but he's not stupid. After averting his mind-wiping fate, the next significant threat is Pettigrew. In the movies, Voldemort returned 1 year after Pettigrew escapes, and the Wonder Wizard Lockhart would surely be on Voldemort's hit list. As a teacher, exposing Pettigrew would be extremely easy. Lockhart would ask Harry's class to bring their pets to the next lesson. He would ask Ron to borrow Scabbers, and then blast him with the spell forcing him to transform. But when Pettigrew transforms, Lockhart will act surprised before capturing him. The whole thing was to show that the spell would not affect normal animals, but Lockhart would not recognize Pettigrew. Instead, he would be mistaken as a creep and sent to Dumbledore's office. As the headmaster, he surely wanted to know why a stranger wanted to be one of the kids' pets. Pettigrew could not lie his way out of it. In the Goblet of Fire, Dumbledore clearly shows what he's willing to do to get the truth out of a Hogwarts intruder.
Severus!
I think it's safe to say that Pettigrew would end up in Azkaban, and Sirius Black will be released and take on the role as godfather to Harry. With Pettigrew in Azkaban, just one more Death Eater is left to help Voldemort return, Bertimus Crouch Jr. In the movie we never learn how he escaped Azkaban, but Lockhart sure could ring the alarm. In all the years he lived as a faker, he surely must have figured out a way to send fake and untraceable letters. One letter to Rose about a plot to free Crouch would surely put Azkaban on high alert, and Crouch might be moved to a more secure cell. The reason why Lockhart wants to be anonymous is he has no explanation for getting the information. With 3 of the most critical Death Eaters locked away in Azkaban, Lockhart would probably turn his attention back to fame. There's 2 significant ways Lockhart could increase his fame while at Hogwarts. First, he could find the chamber a secret, and secondly, he could be the one to discover Ravenclaw's dear diamond. Both are of mythical status, so finding them would bring him fame and glory, but this will also give Dumbledore a Horcrux and a way to destroy it. When Dumbledore sees the second Horcrux, he will probably begin searching for more, or use it to get the information he wants out of Slughorn. I don't see any way Lockhart would find or destroy any other Horcruxes, but he probably doesn't want to. We see in the films how the Ministry keeps a close eye on Harry after he meets Voldemort. All that attention would probably fall on Lockhart. With the threat of Aurors looking into his past, he would probably stop teaching at Hogwarts and go back to writing books.